What's going on, universe? I am Franklin Cooper,
Tristan Jones.
and we are Watchers of the Basement. So today we're having a special first run NBA review so far of the series, how each team is doing. We're going to do this weekly from now to the NBA Finals. And right now, man, we got special guests coming up in about 5 minutes, man. Rob Parker, Mr. No Way, No How himself. But until then, Tristan and myself are going to talk about all the series. My goal is to get some objectivity from Tristan Jones right now, man. I know there's a game going on right now.
We're recording this.
Stressed.
We are recording this right now during Game 4, about midway through the first quarter. Warriors up 22-18. So my eyes kind of dart across this. We're journalists, man. We got to pay attention to what's happening in the current. You know what I'm saying? So
there you go. I think the Warriors are like 33-8 at home, so they're gonna be fine, man. I told Tristan like 4 nights ago, man, when the Kings went up 2-0, he's like, "Oh, well, season's over. We're gonna go ahead and get ready for next season." I'm like, "Bro, can we play game 3 first, bro?" And golly, you guys are 33-8 at home.
You gotta understand. I've watched every Warriors game twice, right? So that gives me a chance to know all their strengths, all their flaws. And again, if they're the Warriors, and I know we'll talk about them later, but like they're for them is if they do certain things, and I think they can beat anybody. If they don't feel like doing those things, then it's not gonna happen. So, but let's get into it, man.
Let's get into it, man. Well, let's talk about the Knicks Cavs series, man. We know, and we talked about this a little bit earlier today. When the Knicks are good, when New York has a player in the playoffs, a team in the playoffs, the league is better. I agree with that. I also on the same token say the NBA has done just fine over the last 20 years. When you look at all the dynasties that we've seen from the 2000 Lakers to the Heatles, KG going to Boston for those 4 years that he was there. LeBron going back to Cleveland. The NBA has been just fine, but Tristan made a compelling point too about the Knicks when they're good as of right now. I watched the Knicks game. A lot of these games have been unwatchable in this Knicks series, but for some reason, this Knicks game in Madison Square, I watched the whole fourth quarter, man, and like I don't have a sound bar, and it felt like I was in the nosebleeds of Madison Square, man.
That shit was live. But like my thing was, we both agree, like the NBA does not need the Knicks to be good in order to like grow and expand and to grow its audience. But man, when them 8 million people, when the Knicks are even halfway decent, like they show out, you know what I'm saying? And they show out in the way that all in all, the NBA is a television product, you know what I'm saying? And we're watching on TV and we feel the crowd energy. Think back to that 2020, 2021 season with no fans in the stands, fans on screens and stuff like that. Like, yeah, the game is good, but like how many of those games do we just remember, outside of Giannis in game 6? We don't really remember those games like that. It's the games where we feel the crowd, we feel that passion. And when the Knicks are good, there's no better basketball environment than the Garden. We just got to be objective about that. Like even Oracle, like, Staples / Crypto, like these are great basketball environments. But when the Knicks are good and the Garden is popping off, you feel it.
Speaking of New York, man, we got New York's own, baby. One of the great boroughs of New York, man, Rob Parker, Mr. No Way, No How. What's going on, brother?
Man, what's up, guys? How are you?
Great, man. Great to have you.
Man, it's always a pleasure, man, to have you on camera, man, and have you on our platform, man, means a lot. I won't take too much of your time, man, because I know you're busy, man. I know you're covering the NBA right now. I want to talk about New York, man, and like, what does it mean to you, man? You coming from New York, being from the area, man, seeing the Knicks, good again, and like people actually care about the product.
Well, I mean, I kind of heard your conversation going in and about the NBA being good, even though the Knicks have been bad. Obviously, the league's not going anywhere. You have other players, but you do miss out on games that matter at Madison Square Garden, which is a great place. I covered the Knicks. I've been covering the NBA since 1987. You want your marquee teams. The Lakers, remember, went 6 years without making the playoffs. It's not good for the league if New York or Boston or some of these teams just aren't in the mix. It's okay to have Memphis and OKC and some of these other places, but you're missing out on a lot of eyeballs. So I think it is good. And the Knicks are definitely better than I thought. I mean, I wasn't sure in this series. I like the Cavaliers a little bit better, but the Knicks have shown that they're have been able to play better in big stretches. It was a close game until the end, and they pulled away. And it was a big game to make the difference between 3-1 and 2-2 going back to Cleveland. So the Knicks are on a nice thing. I don't know where they go after this. It might just be home dinner and a show, but getting to the second round is not bad. So I'm impressed.
Rob, I want to talk about the addition of Jalen Brunson, man. Me being a Mavs fan, I was a huge Jalen Brunson guy, Nova guy. I don't know any of the Nova guys that don't play hard. Every Nova guy that's made to the league, lunch pail guys, they make they stay known in the league. What is your thoughts on him being added to the roster, and what has it done to the roster as of now?
I thought the Knicks missed the boat with Donovan Mitchell with the trade. They had all the trade capital, draft picks. He wanted to play in New York. He's from New York. I really thought they made a mistake. But Brunson was better than advertised, better than I thought, and really helped propel the Knicks and put in, as you say, the hard work, and also, game in and game out did a lot for them to make them better. So he was better than I thought. I didn't think that much of the signing at first. I really didn't. But I think he proved a lot of people wrong and how good he really is. And maybe he was overshadowed in Dallas, and a lot of people didn't really know. But as you see, Dallas didn't have the year that they wanted, and they look back and think about missing him. So I think he's been a big surprise for a lot of people, especially in New York, who maybe didn't know as much about him.
I'm curious about Julius Randle. What are your thoughts on Julius Randle? What do you see as far as his future with the New York Knicks? And can he be a 1A or 1B next to Jalen, or does he need to be moved, or do the Knicks need to try to bring in another star to be that true 1A?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, because a couple of years ago he had an unbelievable season. You remember, and then they lost to the Hawks. He had a terrible playoffs. Last year he was disgruntled with the team, wanted to be traded, all kinds of stuff. There was turmoil, played way better this year. So he's been hot and cold. I mean, you can say you want to replace him, but who are you going to replace him with? Until you show me some who he's going to be replaced by, I think that if you're the Knicks, it's worked for the most part, and you kind of got to work through it unless you can find a better replacement. So if they can find somebody, I could see it happening, but I don't think that that's A1 on their list, that they got to get rid of Julius Randle.
I want to talk about the playoff struggles of Donovan Mitchell, man, in this series. What do you guys, and either one of you guys can answer first, what do you guys make of the playoff struggles of Donovan Mitchell? We saw in the fourth quarter, he didn't score a bucket. I think he was like 4-16 at one point in this game. What can he do to get himself going in this series?
Yeah, I mean, without him, that was the big prize for Cleveland, and everybody thought with the team that they had a year ago, you remember that adding Donovan, they were going to make noise in the East, and they had a good regular season. But it's funny how things happen in the playoffs with people. I just can't put my finger on it. Sometimes the stage is too big for people. He's played in the playoffs before, obviously, but sometimes the stage is not. The stage is too big, and the moment is. And people will, being under a lamp and you're a hamburger at McDonald's, sometimes it's just not working. It's shocking that he could go a quarter without a basket. But, it's a good question. That's something the coaching staff has to work. The guy is so talented. They need to get him in some positions where he can feel comfortable and score the basketball, period.
What I'm seeing is two things. One, too much hero ball. And that goes with what Rob is saying about the coaches getting him in position. He needs to be, catch and shoot. He's not making catch and shoot shots either, but that gives the Cavs a better chance to get some efficient shot from Donovan Mitchell. And the second thing is the Knicks are doing a great job of pressing up on him, and he struggles as playmaking as a secondary ball handler. He's not a playmaker at this point in his career, which is kind of disappointing because that was a knock on him in Utah. I was like, yeah, he can score, but when you need him to make plays for others, can he do that consistently against good defenses? And we just haven't seen it yet. So, like, a lot of this goes to, like, the Knicks and, like, the scouting department. You know, they're sitting on a lot of his passes. He got long arms, but he's 6'2", 6'1", 6'2" at most. So it's like Kyler Murray trying to throw over, like, you know, the 2000 Ravens or something. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, so Knicks are doing a great job on defense, like shutting down, taking away like his pet moves and stuff, and 3-1.
But that's coaching. You know, like you gotta design stuff to get them freed up, and you have to be looking at that stuff. You know, we saw it happen sometimes, and you have to adjust. Last year, Kevin Durant didn't get any space. Remember what Boston did to him? He looked like he couldn't even move. They were all on top of him, and the officials let them play a little closer than they do in the regular season. And before you know it, the Nets got swept in 4 games. So it can happen, even to a scorer like Kevin Durant. So they better get it straightened out. I don't know how they're going to win 3 in a row, but it's not over until the Knicks get the 4th win.
I want to talk about another series. Rob, I know you're in LA. You're based in LA. The Clippers and the Suns. Going into this series, I was very excited because I thought Paul George might play, and he was already cleared. I mean, not going to play this whole series. Now Kawhi's out. What is the state of the Clippers going forward, Rob? What do you think they're going to have to do to like make shift that roster behind the 2 crippled stars?
There's nothing that they can do, to be honest. I mean, they're 10 deep. They have a great line. If you look at their players, I mean, they're 10 deep. They have a great coach in Ty Lue. I've been watching Ty Lue since he came to LA. This dude can coach. You hear me? He can coach flat out. They play hard. They do everything you can. I don't think there's anything you can do. Paul George can't stay healthy. Kawhi Leonard. They load managed all year with Kawhi to give him time, and he still got hurt. So I don't know what you can do. He's under contract for next year. There's some Paul George. You go back to the drawing board and see what happens next year. I don't know what else you can do. You rest Kawhi and he still gets hurt. So what's the difference? I just, if I'm the ownership or management, I just throw my hands up because they could have beat the Suns. I'm telling you, I really believe they could beat the Suns. The Suns are thin. You know, they had to give up so much to get Kevin Durant, and they got 4 talented players. But after that, that's where the issues come in. And you've seen the Clippers even play hard in this series, even since, they didn't get run out the gym. And that's without Kawhi and without Paul George. You know how many teams missing 2 players of that caliber would have no chance?
Just want to get thoughts on that.
I mean, I thought the Clippers could have beat the Suns with just Kawhi. Like
I did too.
I thought they were trending up throughout their series, especially if, Russell Westbrook is going to be some version of an efficient point guard at this stage of his career when we thought he was on his way out the league. So I thought the Clippers are switchable, at every position. They can go big if need be with Zubac or Plumlee. Like that's a really good team. And I thought they were specifically designed to take away a lot of the things that the Suns do well. So yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, and it was just an enjoyable series, up to the point of Kawhi missing Game 3. Like you start to remember like how good Kawhi Leonard is, especially in the playoffs. Like
I thought he had made it all the way back. Like like. After that game 1, and he played 43 minutes, I think. How many minutes did he play? I can't remember.
He played about 42, 43 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, he played. I was like, I said to Chris Broussard on our show, The Odd Couple, I said, is he all the way back? I mean, look at it. He was playing a lot of minutes to end the season or whatever. And then, the same old thing continues to happen. So moving forward, he's under contract. No one's going to pick up a Kawhi Leonard who can't stay healthy. Paul George is under contract. There's nothing they can do but get back to the drawing board, bring the team back next year, and see for once if the team can stay healthy through a playoff run. I've never seen anything like it in the 37 years I covered pro sports.
Yeah, it's interesting, and you know what? When they made that trade years ago, 4 years ago, I was all about. I mean, giving all those first round picks. I'm like, look, you're the Clippers. You got to do it. Like you got to shake it up. The Lakers have been like the mainstay in LA for the last 40 years. You got to make a move, and especially if you're getting like a guy like Paul George, who was, I think, he might have finished third or fourth in the MVP balloting in 2019. I can't remember, but like he was in the top three in MVP
He
balloting.
had a great year in OKC. Great year.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going on, and I don't know what you do, but you do make that trade 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah, you can't look back. That's 100%. I mean, if the Clippers have been healthy over the last 3 years, they probably would have a championship. I really believe that's how, because they match up with a lot of teams. They match up well again. They've beaten the Lakers like 11 straight times and 25 out of 30. I mean, just ridiculous. And in the West, I really thought that they had a chance, but it's a shame.
What are you guys' thoughts on the Warriors series so far?
I didn't think the series was over after the first two games. I mean, the Kings. I was impressed by the Kings for real, because I think people thought, oh, they're young. The Warriors will show up, they'll soil their pants, they'll lose at home, and the thing will be over. They didn't do that. They played really well. And if you go watch those games, the Warriors and the Kings were tied late in both of those games in the final 5 or 6 minutes. They won those games down the stretch. I mean, that's impressive to me. And obviously it's a big game today. This will be if they somehow win a game at Golden State, then obviously the series is going to be over if they can do that. Because the Warriors are a pathetic road team. I don't have any confidence in them on the road. It was all year. Everybody thought, the playoffs start and they would just flip a switch, and we didn't see that. So it's a big game today. And if I'm the Kings, I'm laying it all out, trying to get that one.
For me, the Kings also impressed me in those first two games. But, I mean, I was also semi-impressed with the Warriors on the road. They had a chance to steal both of those games. Some things.
Yeah, but Steph can't make a big shot at the end. You know that. He's 0 for 10. He's 0 for 10 with a chance to tie or win the game in the final 10 seconds. I'm just saying.
Christian,
those aren't feelings. Those are facts. Okay, he got a good look.
He must be really dragging the Warriors' chances of winning down. That's crazy.
I'm just saying he had a good look at that to tie the game, and he couldn't do it.
Such a loser, right?
I didn't say that. Those are your words. I'm just giving you facts. That's all.
Such a loser, man.
No, I don't know how you could call somebody the greatest shooter of all time and they can't make a big shot in a big moment. I'm just saying.
I mean, ask anybody who watches basketball. They'll say he's the greatest shooter in basketball. Don't ask me.
You can't be the greatest, but you can't give me a signature shot in the postseason that he's made. Nope, you can't give me one of those.
That's fine. Just give me rings. I think those are more important.
Yeah, thank God Kevin Durant came by. I mean, that's
God.
And don't forget, Steph is the author of the 3-1 choke, the only team in NBA history to choke down a 3-1 lead. So that was Steph's team.
I don't think just Steph. I think that was more than just Steph Curry. I mean, Draymond got
no, but wait a minute. My point
is
he's the greatest shooter of all time. He couldn't win one game in the last 3, including they lost game 7 at home. That's all I'm saying is that he couldn't win you one game.
But we can't dispute the fact that Andrew Bogut got hurt.
I don't want to hear that.
No, he was. He was a big piece of
their first championship. I could list 10 players who were hurt on the 3 teams that they beat to win their first championship. So what?
Not key players though.
Yes, they were. All the guards were hurt. I can't remember. If you go back and go take a look at their first championship, Tristan knows what I'm talking about. They were all hurt.
People get hurt. Oh well.
Bogut got hurt. You're right. Bogut got hurt. Oh well.
Hey, 2015 people got hurt, and 2014 people were hurt. 2013 people were hurt. 2016, 17, like people get hurt. Like that's the game. It's a war of attrition, right? It happens. Yeah.
Look at Tristan. I got him all twisted now. Tristan is twisted. He's twisted.
No, I've done enough mental exercises in my head to not care anymore. Like I'm actually right now, I'm like watching the entire 2015, 2016 season, like every game plus the playoffs, knowing what's going to happen. I just don't care anymore. Like my guys are bulletproof. So,
I hear you.
proof. Like it bounces right off me. Like,
What's the score we got right now? What's going on?
are they down? I think 7 right now.
Wow.
Kings on a little run.
So Rob, real quick, Rob, who makes the NBA Finals right now? Come June, who your top 2 picks?
I'm gonna go with the Phoenix Suns, and I had the Phoenix Suns and Milwaukee Bucks before the playoffs started. Okay. I'm just gonna keep it that. I don't flip flop. Those were my picks. I'm not. The Suns haven't been that impressive, and obviously the Bucks could get knocked out. Giannis is hurt, but that was my pick. I don't flip flop or change. That was my pick.
All right, Suns and Bucks. Book it.
I'm objectively speaking, I'm going Nuggets Celtics.
Nuggets Celtics.
Nuggets Celtics.
I'm going Nuggets Bucks. I think Giannis gets back next game. I think they close out Miami.
I know everybody was calling the Nuggets the chicken nuggets, but that's turned around. They got some sauce going on now.
No, I mean, look, man, like Jokic is to me is one of the top 10 talents I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I wasn't around in the 60s and 70s, but as far as offensive talent, I don't see. And now you have a healthy Murray who looks like Bubba Murray from like 3 years ago. Breaking folks down and giving you 20 pieces every game. If they get that from Murray, I think Murray is the key because you're gonna get what you're gonna get from Jokic. If Murray gets you what he's giving you, and if MPJ hits down those open shots, they're gonna be tough to beat. They're gonna be really tough to beat.
No doubt. It'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out, guys. But I appreciate you.
Man, Rob, thank you so much for coming on a Sunday, man. You got so much going on with working, man. But thank you again for your time.
MLB Bro.
That's right. Don't forget thanks, Tristan. Don't MLB Bro, because you need to know. Check out our website. Tristan's a part of it, my man. I appreciate all that he's doing. And matter of fact, I know you guys are in Texas or in Houston, but MLB Bro is going to Dallas next Saturday. Next Saturday night, we're presenting Aaron Judge on the field in Arlington, where he hit his 62nd home run last year, right? Nice. To have the all-time American League record. We're giving him the MLB Bro 2022 Player of the Year award on the field. I can't wait for that.
Nice. Will that be Friday? Is that the ground?
No, the Saturday game. Saturday game.
Gotcha. And also, man, you can catch Rob and his partner Chris Broussard on Odd Couple Monday through Fridays. I believe I'm not sure what the time is.
7 to 10 p.m. Eastern.
7 10 p.m. Eastern, man. Rob, thank you so much again, bro. We will have you on pretty soon, so get ready.
Okay, we'll do it again. Okay.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Yep. See you guys later.
All right. See you. So, Rob brings up an interesting point about Curry, and I'm going to say this about Curry right now. I think Curry is the greatest shooter ever. I think the Warriors aren't the Warriors without him, and you could be the greatest. And like when people bring up this last second shot thing, that's like 3% of like the 97% of what Curry is, and it's so funny when you pick apart somebody's game. It's like you're trying to find weaknesses in somebody's game to try to dissuade them of not being the best of what they do. And I think it's just quite ridiculous. When you look at this man's resume, man, like, again, look at as easy as last year against Boston, what he did. Like, Draymond was in shambles. Draymond was in shambles defensively. You know what I'm saying? The bench struggled, and Curry went Super Saiyan and was at game 3 and game 6 and brought it home.
Well, I mean, games 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. He scored 29 plus.
Absolutely. So I think it's far-fetched. I think it's a narrative that now media members have tried to push and try to put out there. But the more they push, the less it makes sense to me. I don't understand how that's still a thing.
It's so you said like that's game-winning shots or these whatever shots are 3% of Steph Curry's game. That's 3% of the game in general. Like it's an antiquated way of measuring clutch or performance in big moments. Like it's so antiquated. First of all, the league uses the last 5 minutes in a game 7 points or less on either side. That's one way. for me, somebody who's played and coached basketball, high school on both levels, you understand like that clutch happens in so many moments throughout a game. Like there's so many moments that can decide the outcome of a game later on, even if they happen in the third quarter. Like those third quarter flurries are clutch. If they blow the game out the water in that moment, so where he can sit most of the fourth or sit the whole fourth, that's clutch. And then if you look on that same list that Rob referenced, Steph is above noted clutch members like Kobe Bryant, like and so many other dudes that we know from clutch. Like he shoots better than those. And like here's the biggest thing I have with it logically is that those quote unquote game-winning shots or last-minute shots, these are the most heavily contested shots that a star player is going to take, right? So what you're looking for is the best shot possible. And the reason why the Warriors have won is because they've used either Steph making a shot or using the threat of Steph making a shot or other players who are just capable of making game-winning shots or plays. And that's why they've been so successful. So which one would you rather have? The person who takes all the shots and misses a bunch of them because everybody knows that's what's coming, or a dynasty? Like, I know which one I'm taking. So that stuff used to like make me mad when like Max Kellerman and eventually Skip Bayless would say that, which is funny because they have these like old First Take segments on YouTube. And you can see Stephen A. and Skip Bayless legitimately debating whether Steph Curry is as clutch a player as Michael Jordan. Not making this up. Like, not making this up at all. Like, so that goes to what you're saying. Like, there's been like a narrative switch. Like every legendary great player has to have something, right? No, not a single player is unassailable. For Jordan, it was, can he, make his teammates better until he did that, and then he just became so great that like the stuff that they would criticize him for just kind of it became white noise. But every great player has that, as in the social media hot take generated, way that sports discourse. So it doesn't bother me anymore. Like I said, hater proof. like dude has a top 10 case of all time. He really has a top 5 case of all time if you want to be real, but top 5 to 10 case of all time. Hater proof. You're not getting that from me anymore.
With that being said, I got Warriors in 7. I think they beat the Kings in 7. I got us in 6. I think we win tonight. If the Warriors win Game 4, they're winning Game 5 in Sacramento, and then they're closing it out in Game 6. I can see that. Look, I'm at a point where, so I always get to a point with certain players where I just don't doubt them. It's like, Curry, Jordan, like, LeBron. Curry's at that point now. With me where I'm not going to bet against them because I've seen them doing time and time again. And the Kings are the Kings, man. They're young. I mean, they haven't been here before. It's been over a decade since they've been in the playoffs last. I mean, this is new. This is new with the Kings. And like Malik Monk, can you shoot like this throughout the series? He already showed in Game 3 he couldn't. Can you get that shooting touch back in Game 4 or Game 5? Sabonis, can you stay out of foul trouble and like can you go right for once and adjust and look at the film and like find ways to go right, because the Kings, I mean the Warriors are playing his left hand, and I don't know why he's not adjusting to that. So there's certain things the Kings gonna have to do, man, to even try to win the series, and so far they're not doing it. I mean, they've gotten hot shooting, early on in the series from Monk and De'Aaron, and a mix of Harrison Barnes and Trey Lyles, but like they're gonna have to like make those little in-game adjustments that make good teams great teams. And like I think this is gonna be a learning experience for them. I think they're gonna lose in this series, but they got a lot to be proud of. I mean, they have a coach of the year now, and old boy. So I like what they're doing. I just say it again.
I'm gonna wait until at least the series is tied before I start talking about them like they're not up in this series.
Well, I mean, we'll see. That's my take on it. I could be wrong. I mean, we'll see. Maybe.
I feel I completely get everything you're saying. Like they are young, and there's an experienced mismatch, but they're gonna be hard to get rid of. Like I think this game is gonna be super hard. Like the rest of this tie right now, just went on a run, but like this team is offensively, they're really good. They have a lot of holes defensively, which is why my concern with the Warriors is not that they can do it. It's like, do they have the full focus to do it? Right? Like, do you have the focus to not turn the ball over every fifth possession or worse? Right? Or, hey, we've been gashing them by cutting, moving the ball, changing, getting these bigs up so we can, attack the rim because they don't have rim protectors, and the ones they do are playing up high to take away the three. Like, can we commit to that and then not get bored and say, okay, let's start taking these 30-footers because we're on an 8-0 run. Like, if they can do that, that's the reason I said that they would win 4 straight and win in 6 is because I noticed some holes in the Kings defense that they just can't get away with, right? Either you're going to give up the 3 or you're going to play up on Looney, play up on Draymond, and give up this rim, right? But you can't do both, right? So if they can commit to that, then they win tonight, they win game 5, and they close it out in 6. If not, we'll have to, sweat this thing out in 7, I suppose. So they still got to get a roll win, though. I'd just rather not have to get 2.
You got T's case right there, man. Book it. Let's talk about one more series before we head out, man. Lakers and Grizzlies, man. So now the Lakers are up. Is it tie? Is it they're up 2-1? They're up 2-1 in the series. They blew out Grizzlies in the game 3 in LA. There was some chatter between LeBron and I don't want to say his name, man, but I don't think he's gotten so much pub, man, over the last 3 months, man. I don't want to give him the pub, but he got in LeBron's face in game 2. He talked about LeBron in the post game, talking about he's old, and he talking about he's not. I don't expect him to. He gives me 40. So there's been plenty of hoopla behind this man. What is your take on him? And is this helping or hurting the Grizzlies in this series, in your opinion?
This is absolutely hurting the Grizzlies. Not because, so I think there's a discussion to be had about trash talk in general, especially when there's an imbalance between resumes and such. I don't think this is really about somebody who's not good, talking about somebody and that's where it gets into it's the fact that Dillon Brooks thinks that people are laughing with him, and he doesn't understand that people are laughing at him because the antics don't match the production. And in the NBA, it's a production business. So hey, if you're going to be somebody who's basically causing some form of distraction, you need to contribute more consistently towards winning. And he just doesn't do that. He brings some things to the table. He's a big, strong defender. He likes to hound, guards, wings. Theoretically, he can guard some bigs inside, but he takes it off the table by fouling a lot. Shot selection is poor, but he brings something to the table by he's willing to take those shots. He has made some big shots in some games. Whatever, it's not something you're gonna get consistently, but ultimately, his production doesn't match the antics, or the antics don't match the production. And that's what I'm saying. We're laughing at you, guys. We are laughing at you because we fully expect everybody you talk trash to is going to light you up because who you're guarding, whatever. But for me, it's not him talking trash to LeBron. It's it was a little disrespect there. Oh, he's old. This dismissiveness. Even LeBron doesn't expect guys to be deferential, to be scared of him. None of that. If you're a great player, you don't expect these people to bow down. It's just not what the league is and not what it's supposed to be. They wouldn't be on the floor if they feared you. But show some respect, man. Be respectful. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where a lot of the backlash towards Dillon Brooks goes. It's not really the antics, but the extraness in the antics, or sometimes the disrespect. So that's my take.
I've been on this anti-Dillon Brooks run for about 3 years now. I don't think he's a bad player. Huh?
I've been on anti-Dillon Brooks since he was at Oregon. Not late.
my problem with Dylan Brooks is not only the antics, it's the low basketball IQ.
Yeah.
I know a lot of I've watched a lot of great defenders in this league from Tony Allen, you know what I'm saying, guys like that who are they're not Hall of Famers, but the guys that they have a rep in the league of like being elite defenders, being smart defenders, knowing when to be aggressive, knowing when to put the chair, knowing when to reading the guy and actually scouting the guy. Guys like Drew Holiday, these are elite defenders. Well, Drew Holiday's gonna be he's a Hall of Fame defender. Like he's on the Hall of Fame track, but there are a lot of great defenders like that I watch, and like their IQ. One thing they have all in common is their IQ. Very high intellect guys on the defensive end. And when I watch Dylan Brooks, he always leads the league in fouls, especially in the wing position. And my thing is, if you're going to do that, you need to offset that with some type of offensive repertoire in your game. And you're giving zero offensive value to your team. The year when the Raptors won the championship, Kyle Lowry led all guards and fouls, all like by far. But like with Kyle Lowry, he still was able to, he was still an 18-point a game a guy, able to hit open shots, get to the lane, create set the table for the offense, and he was a problem offensively. Dylan Brooks doesn't give you any of that. So I guess my question is to the coaching staff for the Grizzlies: why is he on the floor? I don't know why he's getting so much PT, because it looks like he's hurting you and he's not bringing any offensive value to your team. Especially when a guy like Ja Morant's out, when he misses games, you need as much offense on the floor as possible. And I don't know. And then like when you combine his low IQ on defense with Jaren Jackson Jr., that's 12 fouls that's being expended so quickly. So with that being said, I don't see them beating the Lakers. I think the Lakers' length and I think the Lakers' size, especially not having Adams or Brandon Clark, is going to hurt them long term. And you saw, and then the veteran presence. You saw them with this shit that Dylan Brooks said and did. Game 3, they blew him out the water. It was 33-9 at one point. Like this is a veteran team not to be fucked with. And I think it's gonna hurt them long term. And then with Ja's availability, I love Ja Morant. I think he's gonna be one of the greats if he stays healthy. But he needs to be smart on how he attacks. Like if I'm the coach, I'm telling you, hey man, like I get it. You're this high flyer. You want to challenge AD, but pick your spots, man. Don't go up with reckless abandonment 4 or 5 times in the game to the point where you break your hand or you have an injury that takes you out of the series. We need you too valuable to be missing games. So that's where I am. And like, it's crazy. Like I remember a year ago, man, Memphis was this darling. People loved them as this hot trendy pick to make the finals. And like they've become like this hated team at the Memphis within the span of a year. And it's kind of like the bravado, the front running, the cockiness is like, all right, bro, I get it, man, but you really ain't done shit yet. You ain't done shit in the league yet to be this cocky. I mean, what's going on here, man?
But I mean, again, I agree with all that. I think Memphis still has a chance to win the series. I think if they win Game 4, they win the series. Getting Ja back and seeing him look that good, they quiet as told. Like they outscored the Lakers the last 3 quarters of that game last night, right? Like so, like that first quarter was an anomaly. They looked just completely shook, like most of that quarter. I think that's more of an anomaly. I do think in certain ways the Lakers are better, and the Lakers are better in ways that could absolutely increase their chances of winning the series. They're better inside. Like they have a better plan of what they want to do in the half court. They get 2 half court monsters really, and the Grizzlies are one of the worst teams in the playoffs when it comes to half court. Really worst teams in the league, but in the playoffs, absolutely in the half court as far as efficiency. And the Lakers are taking away a lot of some of the stuff that the Grizzlies want to do. They're taking away Bane, right? And that's really their only shooter because can't depend on Dylan Brooks for that, obviously, as was just aforementioned. So I think Memphis can still win. Do I feel confident about that? Absolutely not. I think the Lakers are in a better position to win. If they come out business-like they did, Game 3, then they take Game 4, and that's pretty much the series.
I tell you what, man, a surprise for me has been Austin Reeves and Hachimura. You know how I feel about Austin Reeves early in the year. Like he looks sorry to me, like the way he walks, the way he jogs up the court. But the guy just gives you buckets. He plays hard on defense. He's the ultimate lunch pail guy that I like. And like that game one he had the game of his life. And if Hachimura and Austin Reeves will give you half what they gave you in game one, I think they win the series because that's production that you are not counting on, or you didn't count on going into this series. And now that you have it, like again, Hachimura had 22 again last night. Like he's a guy he's manufacturing points, and I didn't think he's a guy that can manufacture points on his own. He's hitting turnaround jumpers. He's posting guys up. He's getting to lane, hitting threes. If you get a combination of like I think 35 to 40 points between Hachimura, Russell, and Reeves, you win the series by far.
I agree, man. Reeves is good. Like that's all. He's good. Like he's been good enough. He had a lot of flashes last year, and he came in this year, improved on. So he was running pick and rolls at the end of game one with LeBron on the wing, just chilling. You know, like Austin Reeves is good, and confidence goes a long way, and also just getting those reps with the ball. A lot when you think about when LeBron was out, he was running a lot of pick and rolls and stuff like that along with Russ when he was there. So Austin Reeves he's a valuable contributor. Like he's somebody you have to factor into like matchups and later rounds if they get past. So shout out to Austin Reeves, man. He's been one of the most improved players in the league this year.
Absolutely. Real quick, man. I got Lakers in 6. How do you have the series going?
I'm gonna be spicy. I'm gonna say Grizzlies in 7.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. And as of recording right now, Philadelphia swept Brooklyn yesterday. The Suns are up 3-1 right now as we on the Clippers, and I believe the Hawks are down 3-1.
Hawks down 2-1.
2-1. The Hawks are down 2-1.
Game 4 tonight.
Game 4 is tonight. So that's what we have right now.
Next game.
Okay. And Denver is up 3-0 on Minnesota. And game 4 of that's tonight as well.
We ain't got to talk about that.
No, we ain't gonna talk about that at all, man. We ain't gonna talk about that at all.
Big purr.
T Money, man, appreciate you again, man, for being on the pod, man. Thank you so much. Rob Parker, man, thank you so much, man. Yeah. And that's our first guest of that magnitude on the show, man. So we'll hope to keep it coming and bring more guests of that ilk, man. So again, man, this is Watch the Basement, man. This is the first round discussion of the NBA playoffs. We plan to do this weekly on Sundays. We have a session tomorrow at 5:30 Central. Justin will be the host of that. And please, man, follow us on social media. You want to chime in on the discussion, please, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Watchers Basement. We're also on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating, man, please. Last time we checked, was around 250 subscribers. Road to 500 now, man. That's the goal. Yeah. So again, for myself, for T, for Rob Parker, for Justin, producer, man, thank you again. We are out.
Go Dubs.